Hello guys, welcome to Netexpertz. My name is Sudhanshu Kapoor. So today we'll discuss about what is RBAC in Azure, or we can call it RBAC in Azure. Let's start the session, guys. So let me open the pane first. Okay. So if we talk about the RBAC, or we can call it RBAC. Okay, and the full form of RBAC is first role-based access control. So if we talk about RBAC, we can call RBAC, or we can call RBAC, or we can call the full form is go for role based access control. Okay, so this is the you can say that this is the services running in or features in Azure. So if you want to give access to the users, okay, so number one we need to understand is that what is RBAC. What is RBAC? So we talk about RBAC. So what it is that you can call it helps you can call it helps you to manage who has access the Azure resources, what they can do with those Azure resources, and what area they access, what area they have access to Azure resources. Okay, so now try to understand is that with the help of RBAC we you can say that we have various ways to provide the access. Like if we talk about the various ways, so like we can provide access to full subscription also. Like imagine I have users U1, U2, U3. So we have three users U1, U2 and U3. Now on U1 I can provide the access to the particular subscription. Okay, in this subscription whatever types of resources we have, you have the rights to modify, to create, to manage all the resources in the particular subscription. If you have multiple subscriptions, imagine I have multiple subscriptions. So on user 1 I give rights. Okay, on a particular subscription, like I have three subscriptions, subscription 1, 2, 3. So U1, on U1 I provide the right to the subscription 1 that he is able to manage subscription 1 resources, whatever resources they have. Either they have you can say that they have virtual machines, they have resource groups, they have anything on this subscription. Okay, so you're able to manage. Number next one we have a user 2. Now in user 2 I give access to the particular resource group. Like imagine I have three resource group 1, resource group 2, resource group 3. So user 2, on user 2 I provide access on resource group 1. Okay, so user 2 is able to manage only resource group 1 resources. Like in resource group 1 I have virtual networks. I'm getting three virtual networks, so they are able to manage. So that user is able to manage all those virtual networks. They're able to create the virtual networks, he's able to modify the virtual networks, he's able to delete the virtual networks. So this is the right. Now we have user 3. On user 3 I give the rights to the particular resource. Okay, I'm not giving the right to all the resources. I give user 3. On user 3 I give right to the particular resource. Like imagine I have virtual machine 1. So I give users 3 rights that user 3 is able to manage virtual machine settings, all settings. He's able to remove the virtual machine, he's able to modify the virtual machine, he's able to create the virtual machines. Okay, so like this. So that's what we have, role based access. So we can provide access on a subscription also. We can subscription based access, we can provide resource group based access, and we can provide particular resource based access. So it's up to me, it's up to the requirement that what type of rights you can provide to the particular user. Now we have the example. I'll give you the examples now. Now what can I do with Azure RBAC? Now what we can do now. I give you the example number one. Like imagine I have one user. I give right to the particular user that you are able to manage virtual machines. Like number one is allow one user to manage VMs as your VMs. Okay, and other user to manage VNets. We have multiple VNets as well. So I have two users. I give user one to manage VMs and user two to manage VNets. Like this we can do. Now number second example I give, like allow a DBA group to manage SQL database in a subscription. Okay, so in this what can I allow? Like imagine I have a DBA group. I create one DBA group. In that DBA group we have 5 users, U1 to U5. Okay, so I allow them, I allow that particular DBA group to manage SQL database in a particular subscription. So like imagine in my particular subscription I have 5 SQL databases running. So I tell that users which are in a DBA group to manage all the databases in a particular subscription. Okay, so this is known as a subscription based access. Okay, so I can provide subscription based access on this. Now the next example I give, like number third, allow a user to manage all resources in a particular resource group. RG means resource group. Okay, like imagine I have a multiple resource groups, like resource group 1, resource group 2, resource group 3. Now I allow one user to manage resources only on a particular resource group. Like I allow users to manage resources only resource one group, RG1 group. So that user is able to manage only RG1 resource group resources. He is not able to manage RG2 or RG3 resource group resources. Understood? Now next, number fourth, we have allow an application to access all resources in a resource group. Okay, we can provide permissions on the applications as well. Like in the last example, what I do, allow an application to access all resources in a particular group, in a particular resource group. So if you have running applications, so with the help of application also be able to manage all the resources with the help of in a particular resource group. Understood? Like this. Clear? So we need to understand two things. What is RBAC or RBAC or role based access control, or what can I do with Azure RBAC? So these are the examples of for example I give what we can do with the help of RBAC or RBAC. Now the next thing we need to understand is that how Azure RBAC works. Now how this RBAC works. Okay, so if we talk about the RBAC, so RBAC use role assignment. Okay, when RBAC start working, so it needs role assignments. So we need to first understand what is role assignments. Okay, so now we talk about the role assignment. So what is that? In that we need to understand first role assignments. Now if we talk about the role assignments, so role assignment is what? It is a process. It is a process, okay, of attaching a role to a user group security principle and scope. Okay, so not scope, sorry, and manage identity. We talk about this. What is this? Okay, what is the security principal, manage identity? You know something about user and groups already. So it is a process of attaching a role. Like imagine if I need to provide some permission, okay, to a particular user. So what we need first, I need to first make role assignment. With the help of role assignment, I'm applying the permission to a particular user or a particular group or a security principle or a manage identity. I'll let you know what is security principle, what is manage identity. We'll discuss this also. Understood? So role assignment is what? It's a process of attaching a role. Like if you want to provide any permission to the particular user or a particular group, you need to first create a role assignment. Okay, I hope you're able to understand these things clearly. Okay, now we talk about the number second point. We talk about the role assignment consists of three elements. We already discussed this elements. Okay, three elements which I already told you. Security principle. Okay, the number one element is known as security principle. So when you're going to create role assignments, so they contain three elements. Number one is security principle. Okay, number second, it contains role definition, and number third, it contains scope scope. Okay, so these are the three elements which contained by role assignment. Now we'll discuss about these three elements now. Okay, so these are the work, this is the working, as you can say that. So like this is the way how Azure RBAC works. Okay, so they need first role assignment and then role and then these are the things. Okay, so I'll let you know now. First we need to understand this. Okay, now if I open another paint, this I open another paint now, and now we'll start with the security principle. What is security principle in that case? The first element of role assignment is security principle. Okay, security principle. Now, if we talk about the security principle, so security principle is what? It's an object that represents a user group. Okay, security principle or managed entity that is requesting access to Azure resources. Okay, it is identify and it is an object, you can say that. Okay, so it checks what or you can say that what so you can say that it is an object that represents a user group security service principle, not security, it's service principle and service principle, or you can call manage identity. Okay, that is requesting to Azure resource. So with the help of security principle, it identifies who is able to who is the person who access the like it whether it's a user or a group or any service principal or any manager entity. So what is the you can say what is that entity we are using right now to access the Azure resource? Whether it's a group or a user or a service principal or manager entity, anything. Okay, so now, so if we talk about these identities, so number one is user. So you already know that what is who is user. User is what? It's a individual, or you can say it's an employee identity. Okay, who has a profile in Azure already. User is what? It's an employed entity who has a profile in Azure AD. Okay, in that you can assign the roles. On that you can assign the roles. Okay, so what is user? It is an identity of employee who has a profile in Azure AD, like this. The person who has the particular person or a particular employee who has the profile in Azure AD, that is that person is known as a user, AD user, okay, or Azure AD user. Now we have a group. So group is what you can say that it's a container who contains user accounts or user profiles. It's a container. It contains user profiles or user accounts, you consider, not profiles. It contains user accounts. Okay, so if I need to provide a same permissions on multiple users, so what I can do, I can make one group in Azure AD and I can move all the users in the particular group. Okay, and then we can provide the permission, we can apply the permission on the particular group. Okay, so all the permissions are automatically inherited on the users as well. Okay, the next we have service principle. Now we talk about the service principle. So what is service principle? It's a security identity used by application or service to access specific Azure resources. Okay, like you can say that it's a security identity used, you can say that it is a security identity used by application okay, so used by application or services or services to access Azure resources. So here I give it the example. Example is username and password. Okay, so whatever username password you have on the users, so that username password is known as service principle. Okay, so it's then security identity to used by application or services to access Azure resources like user name and password. Okay, number 4 we talk about managed identity. So we talk about managed identity it is what? It's an identity in Azure AD that is automatically created. That is automatically you can say that not created, that is automatically managed by Azure AD. It's an identity, okay, in Azure AD that is managed by Azure. That is automatically managed by Azure. Okay, so for example, I give you the applications cloud applications, okay, to manage the credentials sorry, credentials for authenticating to Azure service. Okay, so what is that? Managed identity is what? It's an identity in Azure AD that is automatically managed by Azure. Okay, so for example of this managed identity is the cloud applications to manage credentials for authenticating to Azure services. Okay, so that is what we have, managed identity. Okay, so like this. Okay, so this is the way how we can go for that. Okay, now the next point we need to understand is role definition. So if we talk about the role definition, so role definition is what? It's a collection of permissions. It is a collection of permissions. It's a collection of permissions. Okay, so in role, when I'm going to create the role, we can define the permissions. Okay, so collection of permission is known as role definition. It's a collection of permissions, simple. Okay, now next, and now in role, if we talk about the role definition, so there has 3 types of they contain three type of resources. Like if I talk about the definition, so the first we talk about the application permissions. So what permissions we can use in this? We can use like read, write, and delete. So these are the permissions we can use in a role definition, and in role definition has three resources as well. It has three resources. Okay, three resources, as you can have resources types, three types of resources. Types, it has three types of resources. Like number one, we have honor. So this is the one resource. You can say that, or you can say it's a resource, it's a role. You can say that it's kind of role. You can say that. So it's a honor. Number one. Number two, we have contributor. Number third, we have reader. Okay, and number fourth also we have user access administrator. Okay, so that's what we have. So these are the three types of four. You can say four types of resource, or you can say four types of roles. Okay, it's not like, you can say it's not like a resource; it's a role. You can say that. Okay, so we can apply we can provide roles. Okay, you can say that it's a not three, it's a four types of roles. Okay, so these are the built-in roles. You can say that we can call it's also known as a built-in roles, like honor, contributor, reader, user access administrator. So if I make someone as honor, okay, so what it means, if like I have a user, so I can provide the role honor, okay, to a particular resource. So it means that it has full rights to do anything on the particular resource. Okay, fine. And he and he delegates the delegate this role to others also. Okay, he has the authority to delegate the honor role to others also. Like imagine if I have user one, I can provide honor role to user one. So what happens in that case? User one has the authority to delegate this role to user two as well, or three as well, or four as well, like this. Okay, so it's working as an admin, and in that case. Now next we have a contributor. So contributor also has a right, has create sorry create and manage resources. Okay, but not delegates to others. So he is not able to delegate to others. Like if I give contractor role to the user two, so he is not able to delegate their contractor role to others. Okay, reader has only view only rights. Sorry, view only rights. So he is able to access all the resources, but he is able to view only. He's not able to modify or create the resources. Okay, and the user access administrator is, he has the rights to manage users. You can say that manage users, has rights to manage users users. Okay, manage users and provide permissions also to access the resources. Okay, so this is the four type of roles in role definition we have. Okay, now the last thing we need to understand is in this session is scope. Now what is scope? Scope is the set of resources that the access applies to the users or groups, or we can say that security principle, minority, all the stuffs. Okay, so if we talk about this, so what is that? It's a set of resources. Like imagine I have multiple resources. Okay, and I can provide like I have VNet also, I have virtual machine also, I have storage also, but I need to provide rights on a particular user. Like I want that I have a U1 user and I want to provide rights to the multiple resources on user one. Okay, so we can create one scope first, add all the resources, and then we can provide the rights to the particular user. So if you have that much requirement that okay, we need to provide rights multiple resources, we need to provide rights on a single user on multiple resources, so we can use scope. In that case, the scope is the set of resources that the access applies to, the users or groups or security principle or manage identity, like this. So we need to understand these things. Okay, so I'll give you I'll cover some part of theory in this lecture. Okay, in my upcoming lecture I cover the next part of theory as well. Some theories are left, so I'll cover in the next lecture. Okay, and in the upcoming lecture I'll showing you how we can apply RBAC on a particular user, how we can create role definitions, how we can create role assignments, and how we can apply the role to the particular user in the subscription based or resource group based or resource based access. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. Please subscribe this channel to watch more technical videos. Thank you for watching, guys.